Well, look, this is really serious, and make no mistake, there is a hell of a storm brewing, not only about the fact of the matter, because it is an extraordinary thing for any Prime Minister to do, to blithely give away parts of British sovereign territory in the manner that Sir Keir Starmer has. Furthermore, to add insult to injury, he has actually charged the British taxpayer for the benefit of giving away our sovereign territory. So there has been a dirty deal done, and at the moment is a secret deal.
Isabel Oakeshott left no stone unturned by Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, attacking them with fierce criticism. She boldly called their leadership flawed, weak and even reckless, stressing that such behaviour puts Britain in an extremely dangerous position. Oakeshott accused the Starmer government of undermining the country in all key areas, from international relations to economic policy and social responsibility. Her harsh and emotional statements caused a real flurry of outrage in political circles, especially because of her bold claims that the Labour leadership is leading the country into the abyss.
So there has been a dirty deal done, and at the moment is a secret deal under which the British taxpayer now has to pay Mauritius, who has the country that has now taken been handed our islands on a silver platter. We are now going to be paying Mauritius for some extra infrastructure.
Today we will talk about how Oakeshott destroyed the credibility of Labour and what this could mean for the future of Britain. She began with a sharp and shocking remark, saying that the Prime Minister looked absolutely unhappy. In her opinion, this reflects the deep disappointment of the whole country in the Labour government. Oakeshott stressed that Starmer's leadership looks inappropriate and even ridiculous, especially on the world stage. She drew a vivid comparison with Nigel Farage, who, according to her, demonstrates much more experience in international affairs, putting the interests of the country above his personal ambitions, unlike Starmer's self-centered maneuvers. Oakeshott didn't stop there and delved into Labour's confusing and troubling relationship with the United States. She recalled Keir Starmer's 2019 tweet in which he contemptuously called Boris Johnson and Donald Trump the two most disliked figures in world politics. At the time, his words might have seemed like just an attempt to rally the party, but now they look extremely short-sighted and even dangerous, especially given the possible return of Trump to the White House. Oakeshott warned that such comments could seriously undermine Britain's vital relationship with the United States, turning Starmer's remarks into a reckless balancing act on the brink of diplomatic disaster. It wasn't just Starmer who was criticised. David Lammy, Labour's foreign minister, has also come under fire. He took an even tougher stance against Trump, calling him a propagandist ideology. Although such rhetoric can bring popularity on social media, Oakeshott emphasises that it has left a negative mark on relations with an important ally. With Trump's return to American politics, Oakeshott argues that Labour's previous attacks have set the stage for a real diplomatic disaster. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Labour Party, tried to allay fears, assuring that trade relations with the United States would remain stable under Trump.
Happen to anyone, couldn't it? I mean, I'm always overlooking 15 grand's worth of clothes and glasses here or there. It talks about a government of change. The only thing that seems to be changing is Keir Starmer's suits and clothing, which seems to be changing very rapidly, according to how huge his wardrobe must.
However, Oakeshott questions this optimism, citing recent forecasts by Goldman Sachs, which predict a decline in UK economic growth due to possible instability in trade with the United States. EU officials are also expressing concern, predicting a reduction in exports to the United States by £125 billion if Trump reintroduces protectionist policies. Oakeshott believes that ignoring these economic realities by Labour is not just naive, but can also lead to disastrous consequences for the British economy. Oakeshott then turned her attention to Labour's internal agenda, especially its approach to social security and employment. She argues that Labour has missed out on a huge resource in the form of people receiving sickness and disability benefits, and that both the country and individual citizens would benefit if more people could return to work. Given that the number of vacancies has reached record levels, Oakeshott insists that Labour's failure to encourage the employment of able-bodied people is not only a missed opportunity, but also a disservice to both the economy and the people themselves. In her opinion, Labour's passive approach to these social issues symbolises a government that has lost touch with such important values as hard work and self-confidence. And as if that wasn't enough, Oakeshott took aim at what she calls the dirty secret deal surrounding the Cheddars Island Agreement, stressing that Labour continues to behave as if none of this matters to the country's future. Oakeshott called the deal which Keir Starmer, according to her, is trying to hide from the public, a real scandal. On the air, she furiously characterized this agreement as dubious and desperate, hinting at possible hidden intentions of Starmer, which are clearly aimed at his personal benefit. Oakeshott alarmingly stressed that this lack of transparency undermines people's trust and raises serious questions about what other dark secrets Starmer may be hiding. This causes not only discontent but also fears for the future, when leaders behave as if they can hide their true goals from society.
What in the name of God is this deal, and how on earth, how the blazers does Sir Keir Starmer think that he can keep the details secret? Because this is public money. So there are a whole series of outrages here. I understand that the Speaker of the House is none too happy that all of this happened during recess, that it was announced to the media, not to MPs, and that a hell of a backlash is brewing over this. And that's before we even get on to what the implications are for Gibraltar, for the Falklands, and additionally for other British overseas territories, including our military bases in very strategic locations.
According to her, this is not just a bad reputation for Labour, it is a wake-up call that makes us wonder, do their priorities coincide with the interests of the whole nation? Oakeshott furiously raised the issue of recent scandals related to Labour and appealed to Starmer with an urgent demand to sort out the protracted dispute over donations, which has been going on for several months. The Labour leader has come under fire for his questionable ties to Lord Ali and a number of suspicious donations. Oakeshott demands full transparency, arguing that Starmer's unwillingness to disclose details of these donations suggests much more sinister motives, suggesting that he may be hiding important information from the public. Oakeshott also points out that Starmer's Labour Party has not set any clear goals for economic growth or social cohesion, making the country vulnerable at a critical moment when strong and decisive leadership is needed more than ever. Rachel Reeves presented her first budget, which, as she promised, was supposed to provide economic growth in the amount of £70 billion. But here's the catch: the Bank of England is now warning that this budget will directly increase inflation by as much as 0.5% over the next 2 years. This means that Labour's policies will only exacerbate the rising cost of living, creating pressure on the population and slowing down any significant reduction in interest rates. As many expected, the Bank of England announced a 0.25% reduction in the base rate, bringing it to 4.75%. However, instead of being the start of a significant rate cut, we are seeing a slower path to recovery, thanks to Labour's expensive policies.
I think it's taken a lot of people 24 hours to absorb the full horror and significance of what has happened here. And I don't know how this plays out. You can't, I suspect, unravel what has happened, but I think there'll be a lot of MPs who are very determined to ensure that this can never, ever happen again.
And now let me ask you an important question, given how rapidly inflation is rising and how the costs are increasing, which fall heavily on the shoulders of each of us. Does Labour's policy really benefit our economy? Or does it only exacerbate the unbearable burden that we already have to bear? Please answer this question in the comments. See you later.